Welcome to Real Talk Behind the Frame, the podcast where we dive into the stories behind the movies we love, how they were made, what they mean, and how we interpret them. I'm Grant.
I'm Bobby.
I'm Dakota.
Over the next few episodes, we'll be breaking down a few films that have stuck with us, not just for how they were made, but how they made us feel. This is episode 3, and today we're diving into Quentin Tarantino's boldest, bloodiest, and most unforgettable film, Inglourious Basterds. Released in 2009, this movie flips the traditional World War II narrative on its head and throws us into a wild mix of revenge, fantasy, dark comedy, stylistic violence, and tension so thick you could practically feel it through the screen.
That was great.
I think that was the best intro we've had.
Are we actually
ever.
doing that?
I mean, yeah, we're sticking with that. Why not?
Did you balance the audio before?
Yeah, no, it should be all
While we
balanced.
were waiting 45 minutes, we got it done.
Because Dakota was late, because he's apparently on a new podcast, and we're not important enough for him.
Fucked up.
I was watching White Lotus.
I was about to say, but also at the same time, I didn't even finish the entire movie, so who am I? The judge.
Hey, you only knew for like 2 weeks. It's okay.
Well, let me start off with this first before we even get to talking about it. The one thing I'm going to start off with, and then we can, give them the little plot. I think they should have just done somebody other than Brad Pitt. That's all I'm going to say.
Why?
He distract you a bit?
Not with his beautifulness, but that whole country voice, like what that American sergeant, he just doesn't.
He's an American soldier.
Yeah, I know, but I feel like coming from him, maybe that is the problem. Maybe he is too pretty.
No, I get what you're saying. I genuinely
feel like
do.
that is just his voice is too. It's too forced, and I feel like honestly later in the movie I kind of started to get used to it and to enjoy it. But I feel like maybe it should have been Brad Pitt, maybe a little bit more of an actual country person.
Well, I get what you're saying because it's one of those things that you really have to. You either buy into it or you don't. Like his introduction scene where he's talking to the bastards.
Yes,
it
yeah.
comes on strong.
Yeah,
like he comes
very
into it,
strong.
and you're like, "Holy God!"
That's
You're like,
where
"Is he
I
gonna
was
do this
like-
the whole movie?"
What in the world was going on? But besides
Gorlami.
enough of that. Grant, would you like to do the plot for us? Give the audience
I can. Hey,
a little breakdown of Inglourious Basterds.
Inglourious Basterds is a World War II alternative history film told through a set of intertwining stories. Follows a group of Jewish American soldiers known as the Bastards. Their main mission is simple: spread fear through the Germans by brutally killing and scalping Nazis. It also follows Shosanna, who is a young Jewish woman hiding in the plain sight of Nazi-occupied France. She plots her revenge after escaping a massacre led by Hans. I feel like it's a pretty simple synopsis.
Yeah, doesn't spoil it. That's a good. Yeah,
Exactly.
I think that gives you a good
Maybe
idea.
like-
And a lot
like
of people have seen this movie.
non-spoilers.
I want to say this is on my top 4 on Letterboxd.
Really great movie.
It's
really
one of my, I
great
remember the
movie.
first time I watched it, didn't even know it was Quentin Tarantino because it was one of those ones like, Netflix will autoplay a movie.
Mm-hmm.
It came on there, and within like the first 10 minutes, I was like, this might be a Quentin Tarantino movie. Simply from the title card, just the way it
Yeah.
was written. I was like, yeah, that's
Yeah,
the
it's a
one.
very strong open.
So
It's a strong movie through and through. I've just seen Django recently, and as a kid, I remember I always held Django in higher regard than Inglourious Basterds, and seeing it this time, I definitely like Inglourious Basterds better than
Yep.
Django.
Really?
Yeah. I'll say this. So where we're at right now is Bobby has missed the entire conclusion of the movie, which is important because it's important to say because like you have no idea how the movie came together. How do you think it's going to come together? That's a fun.
that's actually we can turn this into a good thing.
What do you think's going to happen?
Well, obviously, so tell me if I got this part right. At the very beginning, is that where the soldier or the captain or whatever comes into the house and they shoot the girls beneath the floorboards? That one blonde girl, that's the cinema
Yep.
owner,
Yeah,
right?
same
Okay.
girl.
Shoshana.
So
Shoshana.
that's basically showing the future in a sense. That's happened after she burned down the cinema and everything like that.
No,
So did she never do that?
it's linear. So that at the beginning is the first thing that happens, and then they say that when she's up putting the letters on the cinema, that's 4 years after that.
Oh, so she escaped.
Yeah, she escaped.
Okay,
He let her go.
Okay.
Which also, can we just talk about the opening scene?
Good.
I know I took a film class and they showed the opening to this movie and the opening to Scream as like 2 of the best movie openings of all time. I think this one takes the cake.
Yeah, I do too. I think it's more impressive.
It's
I think,
one of
than
those
Scream.
movies where like just the fact that that's how they open it, you could feel so much tension. And Christopher Waltz, is it Christoph? I think it might be.
Yeah, I think it's
Christoph.
Christoph.
Christoph Waltz is like one of those people where he just kind of steals the scene because he goes to the farm. You're like, oh, this is pretty. I wonder what's gonna happen. And he breaks in and he starts like kind of hinting that he knows people are there. They show the people under there. My favorite scene in that movie, you know how the farmer dude, he's like smoking on his pipe? Then Christoph Waltz pulls out his pipe, which is way bigger.
Dude, I noticed that
That's
too. I was like,
comical.
what the hell
My favorite
was
part,
that?
he doesn't even smoke from the pipe. Throughout the whole entire scene,
really?
it's just like,
He just
I would
lights
say
it?
Quentin Tarantino even said it was kind of like one of those cliches of my dick's bigger than yours. Like, I'm going to pull out the pipe just to show you that I have that power. I'm not even going to smoke from
I'm
it.
glad you pointed, because that's what I felt when it,
Yep.
obviously, like, not that Quentin too, but that's what he was kind of introducing, was that
I'm the
he-
guy.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm the guy with
yeah,
the power.
exactly.
I know what's going on, but... And then whenever he's drinking the milk and he's getting his, like, there's just so many good parts of that whole entire opening scene. You're like, oh, this is gonna be a good movie right here.
Yeah.
So I originally feel like it's a crazy thing to say. I don't even know how it would end, but I feel like in some fashion, everybody kind of dies. Like in a sense, like obviously there's stuff going on with Hitler in here, right? I obviously saw
Yeah.
Hitler in the movie, so in my mind, there's obviously the bastards who are trying to get rid of Hitler and the Nazis and all that stuff, and then you have, what is it? Correct me if I'm wrong. The other side of Christoph, who basically trying to find the Jews and
Yep.
on Hitler's side, basically.
Yeah.
Definitely very big time Nazi for sure.
So obviously they're going at each other. So I feel like with them, I feel like in a way they're all going to die, and somehow Hitler's going to reign victorious in the end,
Interesting.
or the bastards come out victorious, which I think will be the most realistic. I don't know how to put I don't want to say victorious like they're winning a war, but
No.
like
Well, okay? So basically, if you want,
so yeah. I am going to finish this. I do want to finish it later, but please tell me.
So
I'm curious.
It's kind of funny because it's kind of just a giant clusterfuck at the end
Yep.
of what
God.
happens. So like, pretty much, Shosanna's plan succeeds. She's able to lock the doors and start a fire to burn down the cinema.
Okay.
Because
But
also,
the-
sorry to interrupt, but that building that they're trying to get into, it is a Nazi premiere. So the Nazis are premiering a movie, like for all the Nazis to see. So the Inglourious Basterds, it's why they're teaming up with Shosanna so she can get her revenge.
Well, they're not teaming up with her. They don't know anything about her.
I think that's why I
Oh,
was.
wait, yeah, it is.
That's
the
why I
bastards-
was so confused. Is because
there's basically two simultaneous terrorist plots going on at the same time,
Yeah.
and neither of them know anything about
I'm
each
just-
other.
That's why I was so confused, because I thought Shosanna was. I thought that whole beginning scene was like would it be foreshadowing or? Yeah, I thought it would be like a foreshadowing thing.
like it's showing how she ends up.
Yes, that's
No,
what I
so
thought
that,
it was.
It's a completely linear story, and that's showing the beginning, and then
Okay,
it's progressing forward. The actress that they meet in the bottom of the basement is not Shosanna. That's a different lady.
Oh, okay.
That's an actress
Yes, yeah.
that is actually a double agent. She's actually working for the
Yes,
English
yeah.
intelligence. But so there's two terrorist plots going on at the same time. One of them is with the English and the Inglourious Basterds, and they're working with the actress, and the plan was to sneak them into this movie premiere with C4 tied to their ankles, and it was a suicide mission, and they were gonna blow themselves up. In the bar scene, three of the people that were supposed to be involved in that get shot in the bar. So instead, Brad Pitt's character, and then I think it's Eli Roth and one other character,
Which
are
they're trying to kill Hitler in the theater, right?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So their plan is then to take over. It's not a good plan because they don't speak any other language but English. It's a clusterfuck. I won't go into it, but they have a plan to sneak into the premiere, suicide bomb themselves, and blow up the Third Reich in that theater. That's their plan. Shoshana's plan is to have them all in there, lock the doors, set the film nitrate on fire, and burn them all to death. Those are both plans that are happening in the same night. They don't know anything about each other. And basically what happens at the end of the movie is Shoshana's plan works. She's able to lock them in there, burn the whole place down. And Christoph Waltz's character, Hans Landa, he captures Brad Pitt because it's so obvious that he's a double.
Gorlami.
Yeah, that he's not what he says he is. So he captures him and makes a deal with Brad Pitt and basically says, I could stop you right now from killing all the Nazis, but the Nazis seem to have basically they're going to lose the war. They're close to losing the war on their own. And if you blow them all up right now, they will for sure lose. We can for sure say that they will lose now and they're going to lose the war. So if you get basically military officers on the line, I'll strike a deal with them. I'll let this terrorist plot go through. I'll let you blow them all up. But I get to go live on some land on Nantucket, and you're going to give me a Medal of Honor. You're going to make me an American hero. So Hans Landa basically betrays the German Nazi army and to become like an American war hero. That does happen. So the other 2 Americans that don't get captured blow up the cinema, but Shosanna's plan also happens. So they're getting burned to death and then blown up. And then Hans gets to become an American, like he becomes an American war hero. But at the very end of the movie, Brad Pitt, because he doesn't want him to move to America and become a hero, and nobody will know what he did, carves a swastika into his forehead, just like he did to the guys earlier,
escape the Nazi,
so that everybody will always know. But in the end, he does survive, and he does get pardoned. Probably the assumption is that he gets a Medal of Honor, but has a swastika.
And Shosanna is killed by Hans,
yeah.
right? Okay.
No, Shosanna is killed by Frederick Zoller, the American or the basically the German that. The young guy that's being creepy to her the whole movie, and then he's the star of the movie that they're watching. He tries to force himself into the movie, up into the projection room that Shosanna's in at the end. She shoots him with a gun 3 times, and then she goes to check on him, and he kills her.
Let's get into nitpicking.
Nitpick time!
I guess I'll start because this is the most natural nitpick to start with, and this could be explained away with either information that the movie gives. I don't think it does. Or it's just like it doesn't really matter that much. But my first one is like I don't understand how Shosanna goes from being trapped underneath the floorboards of those French people's house to 4 years later owning a cinema. And I understand the story that she gives, obviously is bogus. Like that story is not real. That she says that her aunt and uncle owned it, her aunt died and then passed it down to her. That's cool. What I just don't understand, how did she logistically come to own an entire movie theater
with no money, no actual aunt or uncle giving her a movie theater?
Yeah,
yeah.
And obviously she has a relationship with Marcel, so it's possible that Marcel owned it first. And I don't at that time, I don't know enough about history to know the racial climate at that time. But I would assume that black people were also not I would assume at that time, even in France, again, that's where it gets into. I don't know French politics or French racial relations, so I don't know what it was like at that time. But it seems like the Germans, at least, are pretty openly racist about Marcel. I think it's Hans. Hans is talking to Shosanna, and he's like, he may be the best projectionist in the entire country, but we're not trusting him to run the cinema with all the Third Reich there. It's like he's clearly being racist. All of them are being racist. And I get that it's a German-occupied France, but for her, it's like if Marcel wasn't black, it's like maybe she had a relationship with this guy and he owned it, but I don't understand how Marcel came to own the movie theater in the way that I understand things to work at that time. I would imagine that regardless of me not understanding France's politics, that I would assume France is more racist when would this be, 1940 something, than it would be today. You know what I mean?
And Shosanna doesn't even speak German, does she?
She might know some. I'm not sure.
Because that's maybe my only thought was I don't know, maybe. Now that you say that, how did she become the owner of the theater?
Every avenue where I've thought about it doesn't really make sense.
Because she's not German. She looks German, but she's not. She doesn't.
That's why
German.
I had thought that the beginning scene was foreshadowing, because it made no sense how she just became an owner of that theater. I had thought she legitimately got that theater
and
from
then
her aunt.
Was a downfall to the point where she's hiding under. No,
that's what I originally thought it was.
That's why it's. I understand why you're confused, because it doesn't really make any sense. That's one of my. And again, it's this movie, I think, constantly kind of goes back and forth between how seriously you're supposed to take the plot. I think that's another kind of one of my nitpicks with it. I don't understand. Again, it's like the movie. Maybe you don't. Maybe Quentin's saying it's like you don't take this situation particularly seriously. You're not supposed to ask all these types of questions. But the movie is so well done and so well put together, and Hans is so perceptive that the movie begs you to ask those kinds of questions.
All right, we gotta
start winding down. Get into our ratings.
Let's get into our ratings here. Let's get into the ratings. All right, let me start it off. Obviously, I did not finish the entire movie. For me, again, it goes back to the cinema.
Cinema,
dude. I need the story, the entire world of the movie to make sense.
Make it make sense. Quentin.
I need it to all connect. I have to, because
I don't think you're being unreasonable.
I think like that. Shut your mouth.
You're being very unreasonable.
I'm gonna give the movie. I'm gonna go with decimals, like good old Grant here.
Jesus
there you go.
Christ.
I'm gonna give it a 72.3.
That pisses me off, but I respect it.
That's only because I did get to where I have 45 minutes of the movie left. I will finish it. We could do an updated score next week on the next episode. But for now, with just
I
Cut.
have a really good time watching this movie. I love it. I've always loved it. It's not till I get into the stupid nitpicks that it starts to fall apart more for me. But as like a movie, I just think I think almost any movie, when you think about it that critically, starts to fall apart. I think I just have really high expectations when I'm watching a Quentin Tarantino movie. And they maybe just need to be different. I don't think that they need to be lower at all because I think he is high quality as hell. I think it's more just like, you got to think about what he's trying to accomplish in a movie, and he's not always trying to accomplish. With all that being said, this movie, it lands.
Go, dude.
It's a 92. It was a 93 last night when I just finished it with my girlfriend. But after thinking all the cinema shit, it brought it down to a 92.
So for my score,
hear it,
as you
nuts.
know, love me some Quentin Tarantino. I've always been a Quentin Tarantino guy. I'm definitely biased when it comes to his movies. So I always put on my little Tarantino glasses.
I do
You
too.
could serve me a video of dog shit, and I'll be like, God damn, that was great, man. That's just my bias. So with that said, Inglourious Basterds is a 97.4 for me. It is in my top 4 on Letterboxd. I love this movie. 97.4. This concludes episode 3 of Real Talk Behind the Frame. Next week, we'll be diving into another Quentin Tarantino movie. Released in 1994, we will be talking about and reviewing Pulp Fiction. I'm your host, Grant.
And I'm Bobby.
I'm Dakota.
And we look forward to sharing some insight and a lot of criticisms in the next one. Thank you for joining us.
We have a lot to add to a movie. Well, every movie we pick, we're going to continue adding stuff to movies that have nothing else left to say about them.
We're going to talk so much shit about the movie, then give it like a 95. So
We'll give it a 95, and us three are going to come up with stuff that nobody else has ever thought of.